So much has happened over the weekend. Miley Cyrus has quit performing for crowds altogether. Crazy Taylor Swift fans chased down her car and showed up at her house. And Prince Harry has just lost his legal battle to pay for police protection in the UK. Alright, so if you haven't seen Miley Cyrus perform live at an arena yet, it might be too late. In a new interview with British Vogue, she said that she no longer has a desire to do large-scale tours. After her Bangers tour in 2014, she started to question the whole concept of performing, and she decided that she simply has no desire to do that again. She said, "Singing for hundreds of thousands of people isn't really the thing that I love. There's no connection, there's no safety, it's also not natural. It's so isolating because if you're in front of 100,000 people, then you are alone." Miley feels that doing these big performances would feel like she was living her life for someone else rather than herself. She said that if she is going to perform, then she would prefer it to be in an intimate setting instead of an arena. This means that a tour for her latest album, Endless Summer Vacation, is highly unlikely, but fans should at least be able to catch her performing at different shows and venues now and then. The singer played 5 music festival dates last year and has performed publicly quite a lot since Bangers, but she chose not to do a traditional album tour for her albums Younger Now and Plastic Hearts. And we know that both those would have drawn in massive crowds with sold-out arenas, and of course made a ton of money. So her decision to skip these shows says a lot about how she really feels. Miley insisted that she still enjoys performing for her friends, but singing for hundreds of thousands of people isn't really the thing that she loves. It's not really that surprising though, considering that she's been keeping out of the spotlight in recent years. She's been astonishingly famous since her early teens, and now she's found a lot of joy in a more private kind of life. These days, she says you're more likely to catch her and her friends walking through rose gardens or going to a museum rather than anything else. It's not to say that she's become self-serious, but she feels like she's just evolved as a person. Later in the interview, Miley opens up about the online speculation that some of the songs like Flowers and Jaded are about her ex-husband Liam Hemsworth. She said, "I wouldn't erase my story or want it to be erased. Having an interesting life makes for interesting storytelling." When she was asked more specifically if the lyrics were about Liam, her response was also kind of ambiguous. She said, "I never need to be a master at the craft of tricking an audience. It will set itself on fire all by itself." Miley then admitted that she completely changed the message of the song from how it was originally written. In the chorus, she originally had the line, "But I can't love me better than you can," which used to be a lot sadder. The new lyrics weren't really about how she was feeling, but it was more about what she wanted to tell herself. She said, "The song is a little fake it till you make it, which I'm a big fan of. On the first chorus, I'm kind of telling myself and I'm trying to convince myself, and by the third chorus, you can hear that there's a confidence that I finally believe it." And it's safe to say that many people felt the same way when listening to the song too. Flowers stayed at #1 around the world for months, and it became the fastest song to reach 1 billion streams in Spotify history. But it wasn't just a breakup anthem. Miley also made it clear that she's fully healed from her past relationship, and now she's well and truly ready to move on and find love again. At the moment, she's dating a 24-year-old LA drummer named Max Mirando. The two of them were first romantically linked after they were spotted dancing at her New Year's Eve party special last January. They do have a 6-year age difference between them, but they are said to be very compatible with each other. It's said that they met through mutual friends, and they both have a tight connection since they're both artistic and creative, and they can bond over being musicians. In her Vogue interview, Miley talked about how they met, and she admitted that they got set up with each other. She said, "We got put on a blind date. Well, it was blind for me and not really for him. I thought the worst that can happen is I leave." The two of them started dating about a year after her divorce from Liam, and the good news is that she really seems to be happier now than ever before, and a lot more at peace with herself as a person. Alright, so Taylor Swift got into a bit of a scary situation over the weekend. She's been spending time in New York City in between tour dates, and mostly she's been at the recording studios, likely making new music with Jack Antonoff. She was spotted heading into the studio on Monday morning, and by the afternoon, an extremely large crowd showed up outside the building, and people had very little restraint when they saw her. When Taylor left the studio to get into her car, some crazed fans started chasing after the car as it pulled away and headed to her home. But not even that was enough to lose them. Once Taylor's car pulled into her home, there were even more fans waiting outside her house to try and catch a glimpse of her as the car went into the garage. If that isn't stalker behavior, I don't know what is. Luckily, not all of the Swifties are like that, and many have since taken to social media to call out anyone who participated in that chaos. One person tweeted, "Chasing down her car and following her home? Stop it, that is so unnecessarily invasive. She's a human being, not a zoo animal. Please be more considerate." And thinking about Taylor's security taking a video of everyone outside the studio today. Hope those 4 seconds you saw her were good enough because you are never seeing her ever again. Another person person wrote, "These fans are ruining every piece of the relationship that Taylor has attempted to establish with us since day one of her career. Basic respect and safety are not topics of debate simply because she has a large following. If you are truly a fan of Taylor, leave her alone." Last week, the singer came out of the same recording studio with her rumored new boyfriend Maddie Healy. In photos, the two of them definitely looked like a couple. Taylor was smiling while Maddie was placing his hand on her back. She was seen wearing a purple NYU sweater and a black miniskirt with beige sneakers, while he was also dressed very casually in a black sweater and pants. Their relationship still hasn't been confirmed officially, but by this point it's so obvious that Taylor is seeing someone. On Saturday night, she performed in the rain at her concert in Massachusetts. Before she sang the song Question from her newest album, she gave fans an insight into how she's feeling amidst her new romance. She said, "I've just never been this happy in my life, in all aspects of my life ever, and I just want to thank you for being a part of that. It's not just a tour. I feel like a lot of my life finally feels like it makes sense, so I thought I'd play this song, which brings me a lot of happy memories." While she didn't mention Maddie in her speech, she has been spotted with him multiple times ever since her split from Joe Alwyn. For his part, Maddie has also seemingly confirmed their relationship. A fan posted a video about an interaction they had on TikTok when she was at one of Taylor's concerts. She was close enough to him in the VIP section that she was able to talk to him, and so she used that opportunity to ask if he was dating Taylor, and she insisted that his answer was yes. Last week, the two of them were seen kissing and holding hands at a private club in New York City. Over the past couple of weeks, Maddie has been at back-to-back Eras Tour concerts, and he was seen pulling up to Taylor's Nashville home with her late at night. Apparently, things are moving really fast with them. As we know, they've been friends for years and allegedly dated at one point back in 2014. A source spoke to the Messenger and said, "Maddie and Taylor had been friends for years and reconnected. They had talked about working on music together years ago, but reunited through mutual friends. Once the reconnection happened, things moved very quickly and she was swept off her feet. They have been inseparable." This is really interesting because it tells us that things between them are starting to get serious. We don't exactly know the timeline of when they got together, but we can assume that they've been seeing each other for a few months now, because she and Joe were said to have broken up sometime in February. In April, Joe was spotted in London for the first time since their split, while Taylor was photographed in New York City with her close friends, the Haim sisters, Blake Lively and Gigi Hadid. They reportedly spent the evening at a private club called Hotspot Zero Bond. At the time, a source told Us Weekly that Taylor was enjoying her freedom and handling the breakup really well. They said she's feeling very optimistic about her future because she truly believes whatever will be, and everything happens for a reason. Another relationship update came last week when an insider spoke to Entertainment Tonight and said that she has fully moved on from Joe and is feeling great and confident with Maddie. Taylor is happy. She's very focused on her tour, but is enjoying hanging out with Maddie when she is off. They have known each other and have history, so there's a comfortability factor there, but also feelings of excitement. They're hanging out and having a good time. It's not just platonic. Alright, now Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been having a horrible week. On top of everything that they've been through, this morning, Harry just lost a legal battle with the British government over their decision not to allow him to pay for his own police protection. The High Court in London ruled that he could not seek a further review over the refusal of his offer to pay privately for the highly trained officers. They claim that wealthy individuals should not be able to buy specially trained officers as private bodyguards. They argued that it would be wrong for an individual to pay for those officers who are required to put themselves in harm's way, especially if the committee had already considered that it was not in the public's best interest. When he and Meghan stepped down from their official roles in 2020, they were also stripped of the police security that is usually afforded to royals in the UK. While visiting the UK in July of 2021 to unveil a statue of Princess Diana, Harry claimed that his security was compromised due to the absence of police protection. Apparently his car was chased by photographers and he felt very unsafe in comparison to his previous experiences in the UK. He then launched his legal case a few months later, insisting that he had offered to pay for police protection himself, but he was denied. His spokesperson released a statement saying, "The goal for Prince Harry has been simple, to ensure the safety of himself and his family while in the UK, so his children can know his home country. But now that a judge has rejected his request for that protection, the UK might be seeing a whole lot less of Meghan and Harry. Their safety continues to be an issue even in the United States, where they spend almost $2 million a year on private security." Last week, the couple was said to be involved in what they called a near-catastrophic car chase that went down with paparazzi after an awards ceremony in New York. They described it as a relentless pursuit that lasted over 2 hours and resulted in multiple near collisions, involving other drivers on the road, pedestrians, and 2 police officers. But now that the dust has settled, a theory about the incident has been making the rounds on the internet. It turns out that many people believe Harry Harry and Meghan exaggerated about what actually happened, partly because the taxi driver who drove them around New York City told a different story. He said that the paparazzi were not being aggressive at all. They stayed behind them and kept their distance. To hit back at those claims, the couple's spokesperson then talked to the New York Times and insisted that what happened was very real and very scary for everyone involved. Ashley Hansen said, "Respectfully, considering the Duke's family history, one would have to think nothing of the couple or anyone associated with them to believe this was any sort of PR stunt. Quite frankly, I think that's abhorrent." After the car chase, a source told the Sunday Times that Harry opened up about the situation with his inner circle and said that it was the closest he has ever felt to feeling what happened the night his mother died back in 1997, when she was also being pursued by paparazzi. So regardless of how the actual car chase went down, there is reason to believe that he was truly scared. What do you guys think about this story? Please let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you all in the next video.